Hello there and welcome to Star Wars 1000. Star Wars question of the day: will Rian Johnson's trilogy ever be made? Whatever his trilogy was, it was apparently very impressive according to how Lucasfilm felt about his trilogy. We have no idea what his trilogy was about. It was rumored to be something completely different, a completely different era. It was going to be like his own creation or something like that. It was supposed to be something very unique to him and to his vision of what he wanted to do with his own era of Star Wars. Now, will we ever see Rian Johnson's trilogy? I'm gonna say no, because he created a very controversial movie. I would say Star Wars The Last Jedi is the most controversial Star Wars movie, no matter how I or anyone else feels about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think it's the most disliked Star Wars movie. I think it is the most controversial one, because I've never seen a movie that had such a divide of people that hated it and people that loved it. Me personally, if you know how my thoughts on The Last Jedi, I'm somewhere in the middle of how I feel about The Last Jedi. I'm not on the two extreme sides of it, and whatever your opinion is, I mean, I respect your opinion if you liked it or if you disliked it. I'm just on the side of I thought it was alright, and it could have been a bit better. Some things could have been executed a bit better, but that's a conversation for a different time. I'm a personal fan of Rian Johnson's. I like a lot of his movies a lot. To me, Rian Johnson hasn't made a bad movie yet. I really like Knives Out. That was such a great movie. So far, I think that might be his best movie. And I'd like to see what he would do with this trilogy. I'm pretty sure it's never going to be made. If it's never going to be made, I want at least to know his treatments of what his trilogy was. Like, I'm just kind of curious of what he pitched to them that made Lucasfilm so impressed that they greenlit an entire trilogy. If Rian Johnson is ever going to create his trilogy, I'm sure it's not going to be anytime soon. I feel like their plan is to have The Last Jedi anger towards that movie, have it die down a little bit before they announce his trilogy, or if once they're going to start creating on this trilogy. But I really don't think it's going to ever be created, because I don't think The Last Jedi, the anger that it caused in the fan base, I don't think that's going to just go away. I think it's going to calm down a lot eventually, but I don't think people are just going to change their minds on the movie. And if anything, I feel like the people that really dislike the movie just might move on. It's going to be about it, because I don't think people, I don't know, me personally, if I dislike a movie, I'm not going to just start liking it again. It happens to certain movies. I don't really get how people could just start magically liking movies again, but that's their opinion. They're allowed to do that. I'm not telling you how to like or dislike a movie. I'm just saying my personal experience. If I dislike a movie, I'm not going to start all of a sudden liking it. And that's like a trend, you can call it, that's happened in recent years. Every crappy movie from back then gets some sort of praise now. Like, I've seen videos about Batman and Robin. I know we're going off Star Wars here, but I've seen Batman and Robin get praised now for some reason. And I've seen another bad movie. I think Batman Forever is just okay. But that's another movie where people are calling it a masterpiece now. It's like, hey, let's go to the past, because for some reason there's this trend where we always look at past movies and all of a sudden call it like a masterpiece. I'm just like, I mean, if you feel that way, like I said, I respect your opinion, but I feel like Batman and Robin is a trash movie. I'm not one of those people that are just gonna be like, oh, let's look at the past and like, oh, this wasn't so bad. This film got too much hate. Oh, whatever. But that is a trend that does happen for someone in a region. I think it's a generational thing. I'm not really sure, but that's a thing that happens where movies from the past get praised years later. I'm not sure if The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker or The Force Awakens or the whole sequel trilogy is going to eventually get that praise, but I'm just saying that it is a trend that has happened. Like I said, I would like to see Rian Johnson's trilogy. I'm just kind of curious of what it was, but I don't think we're ever going to get it due to the insane backlash of The Last Jedi. And I feel like the backlash of The Last Jedi changed things forever. The way we talk about movies, the way we talk about Star Wars. I feel like ever since that movie, the conversation about movies and TV shows in general it hasn't been the same, and everything has just been so radical ever since The Last Jedi. I feel like The Last Jedi has changed the discourse of movies in general for worse, I would say, because sometimes it's not always the nicest conversations talking about movies and TV shows, because you got two polarized sides, and that's just, it is what it is, I guess. I'm just saying, I think The Last Jedi is the most controversial Star Wars movie, in my opinion. Is it the most disliked Star Wars movie? I'm not really sure, but I've seen with The Last Jedi, there's just two really, really opposite ends of the people either hating it or loving it. I'm on the side of where I'm in the middle. I know there's some people that feel in the middle too. If Rian Johnson's trilogy never ends up being made, which I think there is a strong possibility of that happening, if it is going to be made, it's not going to be made anytime soon, because I really feel like they're going to let The Last Jedi anger try to die down a little bit, because right now The Last Jedi anger is like still extremely high, and the whole sequel trilogy in general, there is a lot of anger towards it. Whether is that justified or not, that's up to you, I guess. I have my opinions of the sequel trilogy. You guys can check out my ranking of all the Star Wars movies. I'm sure that's not a popular ranking, but it is what it is, I guess. That's just how I feel about the movies. But if we never see Rian Johnson's trilogy, I want a release of what it would have been, or I want Rian Johnson to create a book like his trilogy and a set of books just to see what it was. I'm very curious of what his trilogy was and why Lucasfilm felt it was such a great trilogy. And maybe it is a great trilogy, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like I like a lot of Rian Johnson's work, so I feel like I might like his trilogy, or I might not. I mean, there's no way to know unless I actually know what it is and what it's about, because it's right now a complete mystery. He hasn't really talked much about it. He has plans for it. That's all we really know about his trilogy at the moment. And also, Rian Johnson hasn't really talked much about Star Wars. I think the reason why I am making this video is because they did talk about him doing an interview talking about his Star Wars experience. I'm guessing he is going to mention his quote-unquote trilogy that he's working on. If he is still going to work on it and make it, time will tell. And I'm sure people feel very passionate when it comes to Rian Johnson and him working on Star Wars. There's going to be people that really want him to work on Star Wars, and there's going to be people that really don't want him to work on Star Wars. And no, it is what it is, and that's your opinion. And my opinion is I would like to see his trilogy be made, and I don't think we're going to ever see it, unfortunately. But if we're never going to see his trilogy be made, then I would like to see his trilogy be made into a set of books or comics, or I would like to get some sort of information on what this trilogy was. So to wrap up the video, may the Force be with you always.